And so we say good morning and welcome to our virtual family that is joining us as we celebrate Pride Month for the year 2021. And I greet you this morning and I say thank you to the fabulous team that supported our service on last Sunday while I was away. Deep gratitude to Reverend Cindy Harp and the support team that that was available and here for us last Sunday. Um, Reverend Cindy offered us several points on living a new life and inviting us to examine our stories. Those stories which are built on facts and those stories which are built on something that we make up. Um, and in doing so, in examining these stories, we change the narrative and the direction of our life that allow us to be fully present right here and right now. And that is such a perfect segue as we continue to focus on our annual theme, our global theme for this year, which is timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. And it's an opportunity to now introduce our June theme, which is the soul's call. And so our talk for today is pushed by pain. And you might kind of have a question in your mind as to, where is he going with this? Pushed by pain. Well, I first heard the expression pushed by pain or pulled by vision while I was in ministerial school. One of our classmates had found themselves in somewhat of a quandary regarding a life-changing and life-challenging decision that they had to make. And in sharing their experience of what they were going through in their moment, they offered the solution for them was to be pulled by vision towards the desired outcome. And so what we're looking at this month is the soul's call and how various aspects of our lives are pulling us towards our soul's call, which is both an inward call and an outward demonstration. I like this expression by Terence Lester, and he writes, sometimes you have to focus, sometimes your focus needs to shift from a to-do list to a let-go list. It's not always about willingness, it's about availability. And I know there are various ways that this shows up in my life. And one of those is my quest for learning. I will see something, I will see a program or a seminar or maybe several installments of something. And, oh, this sounds exciting. This really sparks something that I'm interested in right now. So I'll sign up for it. And then as time goes by, the date gets closer, I even have it on the calendar. And because of what I call life happens, I'll just pass right on by that, or it's already started and I go, oh, well, I can go back and replay the recordings, and it winds up never happening. And so what I've had to do is really become clear with myself about my availability and to intentionally limit the things that I say yes to so that I do not overcommit and underdeliver, which is something that many of us, I feel, can easily fall into doing so. And so to set a monthly context for the soul's call, we look at the writings of Carl Jung. And Carl Jung says, what looks outside dreams. What looks inside awakens. The soul's call is this deeply intimate, challenging, exponentially powerful, and globally beneficial work we're invited to do daily. This is globally beneficial because when one of us awakens, it has a ripple effect and evolves a global consciousness. When one of us awakens, it has a ripple effect and evolves a global consciousness. It's like in our families, when we come into this philosophy, those of us who may not have been born into the faith, born into the practice, we come into this philosophy, and it becomes the answer to all of the questions that we've had. We're just so excited about this. We want to go out and share it with everyone. And yet, the time is not right for everyone to hear the message. We each receive the message based on where we are in consciousness. And so that is one of the reasons we encourage practitioners of science of mind to use their families and to use their friends as their laboratory and to live the experience. Allow what reflects outwardly from your inner awakening and your inner awareness to be that which becomes the magnet that invites people to say, something is different, something has changed, something is unique about what is happening in your life. Related to pain, I offer a novel idea, or at least for me, it's a novel idea. Suppose, just suppose, let's pretend, let's May we did not deny or avoid pain, but rather we embraced it as an invitation to a higher consciousness, an invitation to a deeper love, an opportunity to be more resolute to faith in action. Ernest Holmes puts it this way: I believe everything is real as it is supposed to be. If a person hurts, they hurt. There's no use in denying it. So let's move from denial and avoidance to embracing and inviting that which is a part of the higher consciousness, that which is a part of a deeper love, and that which is a greater opportunity for us to demonstrate faith in action. And so for some assistance, we turn to our evolutionary vision statement, which comes out of our Centers for Spiritual Living Global Vision. And the vision statement for today's topic is, we envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. I've always loved this statement because it is the beginning statement of a banner that is posted in our lovely sanctuary. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence. There's something within us, something that is calling itself forward to be awake to the magnificence of our personal power, our ability to create an individual life that works for everyone within a world that works for everyone. And then we also turn to the timeless wisdom of our science of mind principles, our core concepts, and our values. And we focus on the following, which are relevant for today's topic. Life is consistently evolving. There was never a mistake. No mistakes are being made, and there will never be mistakes. I'll say this one again. There never was a mistake made. No mistakes are being made, and there will never be mistakes. Now, some of you may have a little question or a little challenge with this. Let's reframe the word mistake into an opportunity. These are opportunities to learn and opportunities to grow, opportunities to expand the awareness, especially if we use the so-called mistake as a learning opportunity rather than a punishing opportunity. The next relevant point from our timeless wisdom is everything is good or leading to good. Everything is good or leading to good. We believe that is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. And we believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of this mind. And the two last statements are from our Declaration of Principles, or better known as what we believe. And so out of this, there's a question that naturally arises. And it's a question that I'm sure many of us have asked. And if we haven't verbalized it, we've at least thought about it. And that question is, why all the suffering, the sorrow, and the pain? Why the tragedy accompanied by this journey of life? Well, Ernest Holmes offers a response. And this is what he says. There is no other way through which true individuality can evolve. We must be let alone to discover ourselves. We must be let alone to discover ourselves. Else, we would be compelled arbitrarily to follow one road, in which case we would become an automation and not an individual. And so when we live our life from this place of evolution, knowing that we're continually evolving as individuals, we allow the pain that is within to invite us to revisit our purpose and to consciously redirect our path. And I have a couple of points that will illustrate this. The first one is pain is the perfect fertilizer. I bet you've never thought of pain as a fertilizer. But just play with me a little bit this morning. Our life goes through seasons just like a garden. Pain is like the fertilizer used to prepare the grass, the flowers, or the trees to grow. Fertilizers work by providing essential nutrients required for a strong, healthy plant. And so related to our individual growth, there are a couple of questions we may ask. And the first one is, how is my pain providing an essential ingredient required for my development? How is my pain providing an essential ingredient that is required for my development? And the next question we may ask is, what is the pain guiding me to release, to enhance, or to substitute to achieve the dynamic, meaningful, and fulfilling life that I desire? And the emphasis here is on having the dynamic, meaningful, and fulfilling life that I desire. Not just the ho-hum, go along to get along, okay, I can bear with this pain for a little while. No. What is this pain guiding me to release, to enhance, or to substitute to achieve the dynamic, meaningful, and fulfilling life that I desire? We're invited to think of pain as preparing the soil for life to represent our deepest soul's purpose. And I'll share this little brief article that I saw that offers an example of how thoughts become things. And I relabeled it our mental fertilizer. The brain continues to rewire itself to suit the information fed into it. And we know this through scientific research, that the brain is continually rewiring itself. And so it rewires itself to suit the information that is fed into it. For an example, if the brain receives constant complaints, gossip, and excuses, it will make it much easier for it to find things to be upset about, regardless of what is happening around us. Think about that for a moment. If we're continually feeding and allowing to come into our awareness complaints, gossip, and excuses, then that's what the brain looks for. That's what it seeks out, regardless of what is happening around us. And likewise, constantly searching for opportunities, for abundance, for love, and for things to be grateful for makes it much easier for the brain to find a reflection of these things around you. It takes practice and patience, but over time, this will be an enormously powerful way to reshape our reality. And I just thought of this little game that I used to play with myself when I was working in San Francisco. I would take the our local light rail system into the city, and while waiting for the train on the platform, while waiting for the train to come, I would identify a particular model of car because the platform overlooked the freeway. And I would identify a particular model of car that I wanted to focus on. And then I would challenge myself to count the number of vehicles, the number of models of that particular car that passed by. And then sometimes I would expand it and maybe do three. I found that I could do three successfully. If I tried to do four, then I would get all lost and all confused. But it was interesting, whatever model of car that I focused on, for the remainder of the day, that was what I saw also. And so this is just an example for me of how what it is that we feed into the brain, what we rewire the information we rewire the brain with, how it outpictures and how it shapes our reality. The second illustration I offer is that pain is not punishment. Now, I wish I had a big banner to share across the screen that said, "Stop it. Stop it. Stop thinking you must have done something wrong if you are experiencing something painful. Just stop it." This is the lie that we have been told. This is the lie that we have bought into, that it must be something in your consciousness or something else that you've done in your life that is your karma. And this is why you're experiencing something that is painful. The truth is we're being pushed towards a clear intention or something that we have identified as a deep desire to change. So pain is not in the punishment. Pain is something that is pushing us, something and the vision that is drawing us to a clear intention of what we may have identified as a deep desire to change. And we know that out of all of this, good must come forward. Therefore, anything that is not in alignment with the highest and the best must be replaced for good to come forward. Recognizing how today's painful experience is helping us move away from something that is out of alignment with our disease, recognizing that today's painful experience is helping us to move away from something that is out of alignment with our deepest desires. Identify how this pain is pushing us toward the good that must come forward to reveal our deepest desire, our deepest intent. Now, right now is the time to get rid of anything that is a barrier to your best life. Someone penned a song that says, "I'm living my best life now. I'm living my best life now." And someone else penned a song that says, "I'm living my life like it's golden." So now is the time to get rid of anything that is a barrier to living our best life now and to living our life like it is golden. And the next illustration that I offer to you is to let pain be the pathway. Let this be the journey through which pain is the pathway to joy. Let pain be the pathway to the joy that we are seeking in our life. It is important to acknowledge that pain being experienced right now and choose to not let it stop us from moving toward a higher future or a better life. We replace the consciousness that delivered the pain with a rewarded commitment and a renewed commitment to demonstrate the vision of our best life. Again, we're pulled by the vision of our best life. Support ourselves with choosing the qualities of God that may have been missing from our daily life experiences, or maybe we want to enhance those qualities of God that are part of our daily life experiences with more clarity. And one way I offer to identify these qualities of God is to increase our spiritual practices. That increase may merely be 1 minute or an additional thought of something that is sweet, something that is uplifting. Taking the time to observe a different flower or a different plant along the pathway. The qualities of God we notice by shedding the old ways and false beliefs. We are experiencing then a deepening of faith and manifesting the life that we have longed for. And so as I go to a conclusion this morning, I offer some supplemental writings from Ernest Holmes to enhance this. None of us enjoys painful experiences. I think we can all agree on that. None of us enjoy painful experiences. But instead of avoiding pain or ignoring pain or pretending that it does not exist, because we know from experience, at least I know from experience, that avoidance and ignoring and pretending that it doesn't exist does not erase it, does not make it go away. We can accept the pain and we can use it positively. This week, I invite us to remember whatever pain that is being experienced can be an inspiration to choose what is desired instead. Transform that pain into fertilizer, and then do the work of transforming your life. And I offer these reflections from the writings of Ernest Holmes. We have within us a power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light and a new life. And this is from The Science of Mind. Every problem is primarily mental, and the answers to our problems can be found in spiritual realizations. This too is from The Science of Mind. Everything wrong in our experience, whether we call it pain, sickness, poverty, or unhappiness, or anything else, is a denial of the allness of God. Everything that is wrong in our experience, whether we call it pain, sickness, poverty, or unhappiness, is a denial of the allness of God. And this is from This Thing Called Life. And so our call to action for this week and our reflective journal questions are: when have you experienced pain so deeply that you weren't sure you could survive it or correct it? And the second one is, think about pain and fear. How are they different and how are they the same? And then finally, describe a time when you transformed your pain into positive motivation for doing something difficult. And I've asked our tech team to drop these into the chat and into the comments section on our Facebook page so that you can have them to refer back to. And so I will go through them again. Our call to action on our reflective journal questions for this week are: your life work, if you choose to do it. When have you experienced pain so deeply that you weren't sure you could survive or correct it? And thinking about pain and fear, how are they different and how are they the same? And then finally, describe a time you transformed your pain into positive motivation by doing something difficult. And our affirmation for the week is I transform pain into fertilizer for my next success. I transform pain into fertilizer for my next success. And invite us now to pray together. And so we turn within to that place of the all-knowing, that place where love and the law are working together, that place where we know that the all-prevailing presence of spirit is absolutely all that there is, the one source, the one power, the one light, the one love. And so I speak my word this morning, just blessing this entire community that is known as the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, our local community as well as our virtual community that is committed to the transformation of the entire planet, that is committed to awakening spirituality, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We do this by our thoughts, by our words, by our deeds, by our spiritual practices. And most importantly, we do this by demonstrating love. And so there is no pain, there is no sadness, there is no sorrow, there is no hurt, there is no disappointment. There is nothing that love cannot heal, that love cannot resolve. And so I call forth this morning from the very depths of my being and the depths of the being of each one that is present, that unbounded and limitless place where love and only love becomes the healing balm. The scripture defines it as the healing balm in Gilead, that balm that heals the soul. And so we know that healing is taking place right here and right now as we fertilize the seed and the soil of our own consciousness with our positive affirmations, with our spiritual mind treatments, with our affirmations and with our meditations, knowing that we are both pushed by pain and pulled by vision, and that the journey is one that is a victorious journey. And in knowing this truth for each one that is a part of this experience, I also declare and affirm that prayer requests that are held within the recesses of our hearts are being answered. And the answer is a loving and a resounding yes. Yes to the all good that is continually coming forward, that good which is being propelled into motion by our thoughts, by our positivity, knowing that everything is always working for the highest and the best for each individual and for everyone that is concerned. And so whatever it is that we are praying for, I am affirming that the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And so I bless all who are on this spiritual journey. I bless those who practice their connection with spirit, their identity with spirit in a variety of ways that is done so. And as I often say, all paths lead to home, and home is the eternal place of the divine. And so giving thanks for this and so much more, I release this word, I release this talk, I release this service into the law, knowing that it is good and very good. And whatever the request is, the answer is always yes. And so I invite you to affirm this with me by saying, and so it is. And I invite you to, those of you who subscribe to our newsletter, those in our virtual community that subscribe to our newsletter, to take this opportunity to connect with a practitioner or a minister. You will find our contact information both on our website and in our newsletter. We're here to to pray with you and to know the higher truth that God is absolutely all that there is. And now is our time to participate in the law of circulation, a time for gracious giving. And we have an affirmation statement that is coming up on our screen, and it reads, I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. I release this visible supply, an outer symbol of my inner supply, into the physical world. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so it is. And again, in deep, deep gratitude for the way that you continually support our center. Doing so by mailing in a check to our address, which is on the screen, making a donation to our secure website, and that information is on our screen, or you may text to 831-246-9694. We appreciate all of the abundance that comes into our life, and this abundance flows out. We circulate, we tithe back into our local community and to our Centers for Spiritual Living home office that provides us with a lot of the content that we use in our practices. And so I invite our virtual family to join us next week as we continue our theme, The Soul's Call. And the talk will be leaning into the discomfort. Let's see how that unfolds, leaning into the discomfort. So we say good morning and God bless you to our virtual community.